Hey guys, how's it going? Anthony with Jhuly's Aquatics and Gardening, and welcome to my little plant stand in the corner of my fish room. Today I want to just kind of give you guys a quick tour of the plants that I have. It's a lot, so I'm going to break it up into two parts, probably three. I'm going to start with the plants that I have here in the basement, and then I'm going to, in another video, show you the plants that I have upstairs. And then in the last video, I'm going to give you kind of like my care tips as far as how I take care of all of these things. So it's loud. I'm in the basement. I am right beside all of my fish tanks, so there's a lot of ambient noise. There's a lot of light scatter down here. So I'm sorry if the colors aren't as sharp. I will do my best to make it as, pristine as possible, but they don't build houses for YouTube filming purposes. So we're gonna do the best that we can. I have absolutely no idea how many plants I have. I have never counted, and quite frankly, I don't want to count, because if I count, I'm gonna probably be in so much shock that I'll never buy another houseplant again, which we can't have that. So just a few things about this whole setup. This is a plant rack. I call it my plant rack, but this is a stand, a plant. I keep wanting to call it a plant stand. That's what it is. So this is just a shelving unit from Home Depot. I actually didn't buy it. I have no shame in saying that my wife was driving home one day and saw a free sign on this thing on the side of the road quite some time ago, before the whole pandemic thing. She picked it up, threw it in the back of the van, and brought it home to me. We cleaned it, sanitized it, I brought it down in the basement, and we've used it for a plethora of different purposes, from storing sheets and comforters to storing non-perishable goods, until I got the bright idea to attach lights to it and store all of my houseplants down here. So that's all it is. I think it's about 2 feet wide, 1.5 feet deep, I'm not even sure. And then as far as the light fixtures are concerned, I had a box here, but I think I threw it out. These are just lights that I got from Home Depot. They are not plant stand lights, like they're not for houseplants. They're just regular shelving lights, like garage lights that you can hang up wherever. And I use them for plants, and they work well. They're LED, and they're connected by a cord. So forgive me for shouting, I'm talking over my kids. So I'm down here with the kids, and they're playing, they're being loud, so forgive me a lot of noise. So they're not like lights designed for plants, they're lights designed for like garages and whatnot, and I just use them for my house plants, and they work beautifully. I don't know if you can see this here, but I'll give you a close-up on it. This is like a little clamp light. That bulb that I have in there is actually a grow light that I bought from, again, Home Depot. I have remnants of carpet from when we redid the carpet in our basement. That's the liner for this thing here. So again, it's just very inexpensive things that I threw together, and I'm growing plants, and it's working. So this is a testament to the fact that you really don't have to buy those expensive grow light stands. You can just cobble something together like I've done and grow houseplants. So I'm going to take you in closer, and we'll go over shelf by shelf what I've got going on. And so you can kind of see what I do and how I keep these things alive. Alright guys, so starting here on the top shelf, I've got my myrtles in a little tray that I picked up from my local nursery. It's metal, it's watertight, little tray from a garden center that I visited, and I have all my myrtle topiaries on there. Now, to be honest, they're not doing well. These are the myrtles that I potted up in that video a few weeks ago, and I'll link it up above just in case you didn't see it. I've scratched the bark of some of them, and they're still alive, and that just goes to my philosophy on growing plants. Oh, you can't see me, there I am. So I'm staying out of the video. Some of them are doing well, like this one, like that one, others are not. I've got a couple euphorbias back there. I have some, what is this called again? Orchids. I've got some geraniums that I am overwintering from outside. This is that jade plant that I highlighted in a video recently. This shelf is very finicky as far as if I move things, leaves drop off, so I'm not taking off the plants to kind of, you know, bring them in closer to show you. But that's what I've got going on here. So I have these up here on the top for a few reasons. The humidity down here is about 70%, and that's because of my humidifier that I use, and I'll do a whole separate video on that. Or in the third part of the series, I'll go over the humidity and how I maintain it. But I've got my euphorbias back there that are actually leafing out, and I'll give you a close-up of that. I'm overwintering some geraniums. I have a couple orchids, and earlier this spring I started a little orange tree from a seed, from an orange that my son was eating, and it was a pretty sweet orange, and I planted 5 seeds. One came up and it's been outside all spring, and I just potted it up to bring it in here to overwinter. So that's the top shelf. It's all of my myrtles, it's all of my plants that I feel need a little bit more humidity. So because hot air rises, I keep them on the top shelf. So that's what I've got going on up here. Alright, so moving down to the second shelf, I've got all of my cactuses and succulents. And one philodendron that's in desperate need of watering. Now, I chose this row for all of my succulents because I believe, to me at least, that this row is like a happy medium. I feel, and I have nothing to back this up, I feel that the light is a little bit closer here on this shelf than the other 2 shelves, so that my succulents won't be stretching or etiolating. I've got a blood spot, man-gave blood spot back here. Let me see if I can pull it out. Right, so I've got a man-gave blood spot here, and I left the tag on it so that I'll know what it is. This had some spider mite damage, or I think it's spider mites. I don't know what. I'm still treating it, and you can see that it's pupping, which I don't mind. I have been treating it. It hasn't been spreading, so that's why I haven't taken it off the shelf to move it into quarantine. I do have a Hoya in quarantine because it had same thing, but it was on a different shelf. So, you know, I'm not being totally cautious. Whatever. But I love this plant. And what I do a lot is when I have a plant that I know I'm going to forget the name of, I either make a label or take the plant label and stick it on the side of the container. This is not for show, so I don't mind it looking kind of haggard. No one comes down here to see my house plants. My showy house plants, I have them upstairs, I have them on display. These are down here to overwinter, and I'll explain what I mean by overwinter in part 2 of the video. This I picked up from Home Depot. I thought it was an agave attenuata variegata. It is not. It is a agave desmodiana variegata. I don't think it's the same thing, but it's pretty stunning. It's not showing intense variegation because it's, again, not in its growing season. So I just have it down here overwintering, trying to keep it alive until I can move it out next year. Right here in front of us, I have a Gibiflora hybrid, Echeveria Gibiflora hybrid, and a Echeveria cutting that I don't know exactly what it is. So that's that. I know that's not a dogtail cactus, but I call it a dogtail cactus because I just don't know what it is. That plant was a stress buy. I was having a very hard day and I just needed to decompress, so I went and bought plants. That little cactus there, these are from my love affair with cactuses. I have like certain bursts where I have to have certain plants, and I was on the cactus crave. So these are actually almost 2-year-old cactuses, and you can see that it's pushing new growth. All of that there is new growth. If we pan back over here, all of that at the top there and there is new growth. So, you know, I waited 2 years for that to happen. So I'm not upset about it. That's another little cactus that I got on clearance. I loved it, so I picked it up. And I have some grafted sedums. I have some baby toes back there. These are plants that I cut off of to do an arrangement, and the stump decided to push new growth, so I'm keeping them to see what'll happen. So that's pretty much what I've got going on here. That, I forget what it is, but it was in an arrangement that I did for my mom, and I pulled the arrangement apart and I kept that. I can't remember what kind of, and that's why I do labels like that, because I never remember what they are. This is an agave that I picked up. I have the tag back there, but obviously it's turned the wrong way. Let me see if I can find out what it is. It's a aloe, not an agave, it's an aloe hybrid called Sparkler. So that's pretty much it. These are all of my succulents that I have on this shelf. So there's a clamp light I was telling you about earlier. On this shelf, it's another hodgepodge of plants. I have some scented geraniums in the back that I'm overwintering, and also some geraniums that I had in other pots. And you can see that I've still got some blooms. I have a really old fishbone cactus in the back there. I have a calathea rattlesnake in the back. That's a pot full of Kalanchoe luciae or paddle plants cuttings that I'm rooting, and I left the stump on that one to see if it'll pup. So it's just a random mishmash of plants. I picked up these Aeonium kiwis and that Aeonium Irish bouquet yesterday, and I just stuck them in that pot. Aeoniums grow in the fall, so this is their growing season. So that's pretty much it for this shelf. The last shelf that I have is just all of my supplies. I don't have a light under there. So I've got different soils. I have extra pots and repotting supplies. Last but not least, on the ground, because I don't have enough space, I have an arrangement that I did. I don't know if I made a video out of this. This might have been a random urge project. I have another Euphorbia trigona royal red down here. This is just a pot full of cuttings that I'm rooting. Over here is the arrangement that I did in my Succulent 102 class, and it's ideolating because I forgot to bring it down here and put it under grow lights, so I had it in a bad spot and it was ideolating, but it'll recover, it'll be fine. So that's all of my houseplants, guys. Part one, actually. That's all of my houseplants in the basement. I hope you enjoyed seeing what I've got going on. Maybe I'll have the heart to count how many I've got, and I'll put it on the screen if I do decide to do that. And that's a scary thought, so I don't know if I want to. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Stay tuned for part two, where I'll take you upstairs and show you my display plants. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share. Give me a big thumbs up. Remember, in all things, give thanks. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.